We are working for the weekend, and the weekend is here. So, why don't you knock off a little bit early today? Maybe sneak out at lunch. Just get your weekend started early. You know what I mean? Just leave a couple pencils laying around your desk and maybe a drop phone, a cell phone that doesn't work, and just leave it there because when they go looking for you, they say, well, he must be here somewhere. His cell phone's laying on the desk, right? Or leave your computer turned on, or maybe some notes open. The weekend is here. Nicky Hale, our world correspondent, is here. Are you going to knock off early today?
I'd love to, and I'm hoping to. I'll put it that way.
Oh.
But you should write an 80s film. It sounded so good with that song, and that I could just picture.
Yeah, working for the weekend.
Cube office and somebody just trying to set it up so they were still there, but they're really not.
Like an adult version of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
There you go.
Speaking of 80s films, are you excited? I am to see the Wall Street sequel that comes out today.
Absolutely. And I know I heard you earlier saying, him talking about greed. And I think his new line in the movie is, I used to say greed was good, and now it seems to be the common thing, the norm.
Because of the modern age of banking the high finance, and you're in banking as well, but you're a friendly banker, right?
Yes, I'm a pro-customer banker, put it
Very
that way.
good. You sound like you're running for governor.
No,
I'm a pro-customer governor. I'm a pro-business Democrat, or whatever it might be.
No.
The Titanic, it turns out, was sunk by Captain Error, it turns out.
Steering mistake. Yeah, it wasn't the captain at the helm at the time, but the understanding is this is the granddaughter of one of the chief operating officers of the Titanic, and they did not actually tell anybody about this in the inquest because they were scared that the family that owned the Titanic was going to go bankrupt over it. So they kind of hid it. But what actually happened was, with the change of them going from a steam engine to the engine they had in Titanic, the steering was the opposite way round. And so when they finally spotted the Titanic, the person at the helm actually turned the wheel the wrong way, which gave them only 4 minutes to correct it, which wasn't enough time, so they ended up hitting the iceberg. And then the second mistake was they continued to sail. And they're saying that if they had actually stopped the ship, it would not have sunk as quickly as it did, which would have saved lives.
Because they were going forward and water was gushing into the hole?
Exactly. It was pushing and breaking the ship as they were going forward.
Yikes, that was an icy night, to be sure,
Yes.
I would think.
The granddaughter apparently has a book coming out and decided this was an appropriate time to share that information. So.
Because the book's coming out.
Exactly.
Sure it is.
Yes.
There were a lot of wealthy people on the Titanic. And we see now that the new Forbes list of the richest people in the world includes a very young man.
Yeah, and what's interesting this year is they actually said they only included people that had 1 billion in fortunes or higher, which last year was 950 million was the cutoff.
The rich are getting richer.
So yes, exactly. Isn't that interesting? And the interesting news from this list is Zuckerberg, the Facebook owner, 26 years old, has passed the CEO of Apple. So
wow.
That's interesting.
Isn't that something?
But the other news as well is we still see the Walmart family holding strong in the top 10, and Gates is still number 1 for the United States.
Bill Gates, number 1, Warren Buffett, number 2. And Warren Buffett just yesterday said that the U.S. economy remains in a recession, in his opinion, and he says it's going to take a while to get out of it.
I've got to say, like you said, I'm in the banking industry, and day after day, I still hear a lot of struggles from my customers. Customers that used to do very, very well, and now chasing after the money. They spend days doing that, trying to get their money in the door. So I don't think we're quite through it just yet.
What about Bono? He has lots of charities. He also has lots of money. Is it going to the right place?
Doesn't sound like that, does it?
Really?
His main charity, which is what they say is making people aware of the AIDS issue in Africa. They raised, I think it was at 6.9 billion last year, and only 123,000 of that was actually donated to charity.
What?
So
where's the rest of it going?
They're getting into some choppy water about that. And what the deal is he's saying is they don't actually give directly to charities. They actually are making awareness of the AIDS issues. And so these are going to the salaries of the people that are doing the awareness work.
Not bad. 9.6 million pounds raised. 123,155 actually went.
So the rest of it was all salaries of the people that raise awareness. That's what they're saying.
Nice work if you can get it, I guess.
That's exactly.
It's kind of like that city manager in California. Did you hear that? He was making $950,000 a year or something like that, and the police chief was making $500,000. Well, anyway, whatever you can negotiate, good for you.
Yeah.
The Pope was in England. How did his visit go?
It went apparently quite well. They were all anticipating a lot of protests. We did not see the amount of protesting they expected. The one thing that I think they got made fun of a lot was because he arrived in Scotland, was greeted by the Queen, which would be the way to do it, I suppose, in a way. And then they had Susan Boyle sing for him, and everybody thought that was quite interesting choice.
From American Idol. Or British
the
Idol.
version of that,
Yeah.
yes. And she seems to sing only the same song, so...
It's a religious song she sings, isn't it?
I think it's... no, I think it might be a theater song that she sings.
Okay.
But
Oh, yeah, it's from Les Mis, isn't
yes,
it?
that's it. Anyway, and so she's Scottish, so we get that, but really, they were not happy with that choice. And then he was there for 4 days. He did the tours, went through a couple of cities, did a lot of talking, and... talked to the Prime Minister and discussed the situation of religion in the UK, and I guess they came to a consensus that you don't have to have the same religion, but let's try and open the doors to, freedom and liberty and that kind of thing.
Well,
So
we've been trying to make sure the Catholics are treated evenly in Northern Ireland forever.
yes.
Maybe one day it'll actually happen.
There you go.
Okay.
Can only hope. Equality for all. That's what I'm all about.
Thank you very much. World correspondent Nicky Hale. You should be at the UN today in New York. The president was speaking there yesterday, and Ahmadinejad and all the rest.
Right. I should go there and just,
Yeah.
please just give
Keep
peace
your
a chance.
ear to the ground. Give peace a chance.